radio broadcast, John R. Rice, Sword of the Lord. I'll tell you the story. I had never seen the Sword of the Lord until about 2-3 weeks before I went off to college. And the man who led me to Christ just happened to have a copy, and I was there and was late. I said, "What's this?" He said, "It's a publication with sermons in it and ideas and quotes and poems. It's a kind of neat thing." And I read it. And that's the first time I'd ever read it. I went off to college. When I got to college, the dorms we were going to live in weren't finished yet, and we actually had to finish them in order to live there. I stayed in old YMCA cabins. That was the guys' dorms for a while, that were so old, it snowed one night, and there was a crack in the door so wide, we had a pile of snow in the middle of the room the next morning, where the wind just blew right through the crack into the room. It's kind of funny, wake up and there's a pile of snow there. Well, that's interesting. And I met my wife building what would become the girls' dorms, and they sent us down there and said, "Yeah," and I'm scraping putty, from drywall putty. They just put up the drywall, and we're about ready to lay carpet, and this stuff has to come up. So they gave me this big scraper, and I'm just scraping, and I had finished that room, and I walked into the next room, and there's this young lady in the room also scraping putty. So we just started talking. I said, "Hello." That was deep. And I said, how did you find out about college? And she said, "About 3 weeks ago, I picked up a Sword of the Lord, and there was an advertisement here about college." I said, "Well, that's kind of funny, because about 3 weeks ago, I read the Sword of the Lord the very first time." And she said, "I didn't even thought about college. I wasn't going to go to college. I was just going to stay home and do whatever." And I read that, and God just spoke to me. "You need to go to college." What God was really telling her was, He needs help. You need to go meet Him. He's going to need lots of help. So go help Him. And the Lord just brought us together, and He used the Sword of the Lord to do it. And I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Sword of the Lord. If it hadn't been for that, I may have never met Connie, and she wouldn't be in the mess she's in today. He not only was the editor of Sword of the Lord, but he wrote over 200 books and pamphlets, and I had most of John R. Rice's stuff. I have given it all away since to young preachers that sort of came across my path, and I'd give this book away, give that book away, give that book away. I don't have any of them anymore, but at one point I owned almost everything that he had produced. See,